Also double checking. There are 2 hours and 36 minutes worth of space on there.
Which we can talk forever.
Oh man, it's gonna be a crazy review.
I love this.
I will walk back to the car.
No, you won't. You're just gonna look like the same characters as everybody in Slumdog.
That's all right. Just staying in theme.
Mason, you're gonna be on your phone this entire time?
I've got some stuff.
You've got some notes.
Down, yeah.
Oh boy.
That won't save you.
Oh.
Remember how you graded on me for Little Shop last week?
What did I do?
You were hating on my movie.
Oh.
So of course the hate needs to come
it's
back
comeback.
the
It's
other way.
comeback time. Like if I thought the movie, like the score's gonna be up here, it's not gonna be down here.
As Justin Timberlake once said, what goes
around comes back around.
Yeah.
That's all right. I'll score
my. Johansson could tell you
I'll
that.
score my movies high enough that the low score won't matter.
If anything, I've learned from that music video, it's that if you cheat on Justin Timberlake, he'll just chase you in a car until you die.
Until you flip that car.
Justin Timberlake will get you. Welcome to the Effin' Movie Podcast! I'm your host today, Dylan Camacho. Today with me, also host because they're going to complain for not having the same title and rank of power in this show.
Always.
Mason, Nathan, and Price. In no particular order. Hold on. We may have.
We might have a guest.
We have
a special
intruder.
guest.
Who is it?
Who is it? Everybody, beat the
Annabeth.
ground.
My
Beat the
money's
ground.
Annabeth.
I'm going.
We got
a
I said Annabeth first. I win.
Annabeth.
That's okay.
No, we're going to keep this in. Don't worry.
No,
3
it's
minutes
fine.
in.
Yeah, we're only 3 minutes.
Totally
in.
fine.
We have 2 hours and 23 minutes left.
Shout out to Annabeth and Jill, who will be watching this video and in an Inception-like form say, hey, that was us when we walked through the video.
Yeah, and one of them picked The Little Prince.
That's true. Go tune in to our earlier episodes to see
The other
which one it
picked
was.
a film that you didn't watch.
Nope. Didn't have to, thank goodness.
He wasn't here, and I hate
The
him
Brothers
for it.
Bloom.
Restart that?
You all did not speak
Nope.
highly of it.
We're
Hey,
already
what are you
in.
talking about?
I always heard
Maybe
y'all
they
didn't like it.
didn't.
So we talked a lot about what we were.
Mason and I always agree on our movie picks.
That's not true. So,
I'm so confused.
Mason, what movie are we actually talking about that has nothing to do with Jill and Annabeth? Hi, Jill and Annabeth in the future.
Today we're talking about Slumdog Millionaire, the 07 classic.
The 07 classic.
Maybe 06. I think it's 07.
He's
So
also
7.
like, you're sitting like behind us, which is where you
I'm
should
always sitting
Which is
behind
where
us.
you should
Yeah.
be, but
Yeah.
like always 3 steps behind.
There you go.
Yeah,
There
you do
Yeah.
always seem to be like,
Yeah, I know.
oh, back
It's
in
either
the
that or I'm
shadows.
elbow to elbow with Dylan. And I don't
He's
wanna
like,
do
I
that.
Well, I mean,
don't
I'm
want
elbow
to.
to elbow with
I don't
Chris.
have any room. Like their elbows are taking up
I
my
figured out
space.
Nathan is actually left-handed when he eats, and probably at other times.
I am left-handed.
So
Yeah.
it can be annoying at
Fun
times.
fact. We have a devil among us.
Yep. Anyway, so Slumdog Millionaire. Price, tell us what Slumdog Millionaire is about.
Dang it. Well, it's basically framed around Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. This Indian kid, Salim, right?
Salim is the man.
Okay.
No.
No.
No?
Jabbar.
Jabbar is the man. Yeah, Salim's
Salim's
the brother.
bad kid.
Salim!
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can remember. You gotta get out of it.
Because that's how his name's always pronounced.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jabbar. Is that his name?
Jabbar, yeah.
You sure?
Jubar.
Sure. I don't care. I'm going to say it till
Fact check.
you all correct me. Jabbar, the main guy, is on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but he's like getting tortured because they're like, how did you know all the answers? There's no way you knew all the answers.
I knew all the answers.
And basically throughout the story, like you have the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire,
Jamal.
the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire storyline, which is the present day, and then you have flashbacks detailing his like whole background to that point, from when he was a little kid to present. But it's mainly from when he was a little kid. The child acting actually is taking up a large portion of the film of this already pretty long movie.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like Honey Boy.
Hey.
No.
Actually, yeah, the timeline is pretty much Honey Boy if we think back on it.
And there's basically 3 main characters. Well, 2 really. Jabbar and Salim, his brother. Jamal. That makes a lot more sense.
Spelled
Yeah.
Jamal.
Jamal
Get it
and
right.
Salim. And then there's like almost a main
He's an
character,
idiot,
Latika, but she doesn't really get much. Like she's basically the love
Latika.
interest.
Latika.
I don't care. I'm going to southern it up.
Yeah, she kind of just comes in to be an important character in like various
Yeah.
scenes, but is not important any other time.
She's not
on
really
the screen.
she's not really fleshed out
Yeah.
at all. And that's really it. That's all the movie is.
Rags to riches Jamal up in the house, and that's pretty much Slumdog Millionaire in a nutshell. If you want, if you want to know if he gets the money at the end,
We're going to tell you here in just a minute,
we'll,
probably.
We'll tell you. This is a spoiler review. Like
Yeah.
every review we do is a spoiler review. It's not
Always.
anything out of the ordinary. Let's get into it, guys.
All right, so Mason, why did you pick this movie?
Oh, this movie is so freaking good. I think that there's a lot of things that make this movie stand out, especially in that time period. Obviously, this is a foreign film, and for it to be a foreign film, it's very good. And then also just, like, the music stands out, the acting, like you said, the child acting was really good, but also, I think the storytelling itself was really good. Like, to use Who Wants to Be a Millionaire as like a platform. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was freaking huge at this time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every country had it at this point. And I don't know. Like, it was also based on a book. Oh, I forgot to bring the book. Q&A. Vikas Swarup or something.
Q&A, it's question and answer.
That's the book name.
That's the book name.
Okay. I thought you were
Anyways.
like, fun fact, but you said like Q&A. and I'm like, oh,
No, Q&A was the book, and it's, like, this movie is very much based on that book, so, I don't know, I just think that this movie has a lot going for it, and I think it would be good to review it, so.
All right, I am going to throw in my rebuttal already with the sound, the music. Like you said, the music in it was good. No, I didn't think much of the scene. Besides, like, the, like, generic, like, standard kind of Indian music, which I think they utilize a lot of the movie, which was fine. That part, like, it just melded with the movie. It didn't accentuate anything. It wasn't really noticeable, but it just, like, underscored the movie in a good way. So, like, it wasn't really standing out in any particular way, which music is fine in that regard. But then...
It's not a musical.
Go ahead. I am ready for this. Just like The Great Gatsby, for some reason... people like in this time period, I guess, like who when making this movie are like, let's throw a contemporary song on there, so like other people may want to see it, and they throw in that Paper Planes, sure, all I want to do, and then I was livid at that
I
portion.
will agree with you that felt very strange and out of place. That was the one thing that definitely took me out of this movie, where through most of the rest of it, I was very engaged and very interested in this movie. But yeah, the choice of that song was so bizarre.
It was horrendous. It's not.
And then they did like a remix of it.
Yeah, they
too.
did it
like,
near-
there's like
again.
a reprise of it.
They did it
was-
twice.
So that's also like a foreign band, but I get it. Like that, like you said, it does date the movie a little bit because that movie was freaking huge.
Was that,
Oh, yeah.
Not even so
was
much
that a
it
scene in a
dates
cut
it.
in the trailer? Like, am I imagining? Because I feel like that didn't jar me as much
Maybe.
as it usually does, but I was like, I feel like I remember this being that thing. Like, I remember this song being attached to this movie in this scene specifically. Maybe I don't know.
And this is a point that we need. Like, this song does merit discussion because the song goes on for, like, this section of the movie goes on for, like, 2.5, 3 minutes because it's detailing an important part of their lives where they're scraping by, trying to make ends
grifters.
meet.
Well,
yeah.
yeah, it's like
And it goes
basically
on for
they're
a while.
coming up to like
It's the rags
getting
to
quite
riches
a
part.
bit of
yeah.
wealth, actually, which is why the song fits technically.
Yeah.
It just doesn't actually fit. Like, it felt very strange and out of place. Mostly because it doesn't do this for the whole rest of the movie, and the fact that it does it with such a popular pop song, and it just, like, it starts playing it, I feel like a little too soon into this scene. Like, they're just starting to figure things out,
Yeah.
and then it's just like, oh, but we got this music playing. It's like, oh, yeah, they're getting that money. It's
30
like,
seconds
not
after the
really.
movie starts.
Not really.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, with 95% certainty, why they decided to just play the song through. They had to buy the rights to the song, and they're like, it's either the whole song or nothing at all. And
Just
they're
use
like,
it.
we're using every second we put $50,000 for this song. And they ran it through the whole scene. I guarantee that's what it was. But yeah, I'm kind of with you guys on that. I remember thinking like, it fit. It didn't like super bother me like with Great Gatsby. That one was like incredibly jarring. This one, I'm like, this song makes sense for the scene and everything, and like I feel like a handful of movies have done that same song, which is my bigger problem with it.
So many.
Like Pineapple Express did
movies,
it. another
But
movie
Pineapple
did it.
Express, it makes a lot more sense
Pineapple
because
Express
the song
contextually makes
the
sense.
song
yeah.
has like a goofy kind of tone to it, and
Yeah.
like we're stealing, but we're still like carefree and stuff like
This
that.
one is very grounded in the serious realism of it, but maybe they just wanted to add the extra tone of maybe some levity to the whole thing. I don't know. I'm not talking to the director.
I'm
here.
just glad that we're talking about literally the worst song in the entire movie.
Yeah.
It was a big point to me.
Right, but I think
This movie won an Oscar for like
for the soundtrack.
for J.O.
Yeah.
Like, the very credit song. Like that's the best song in the whole movie.
I
The
don't,
credits.
I don't remember it.
Yeah.
And Osaya, the very first song with that girl who sings like the rap part at the very beginning, whenever they're running through the favelas, and like
Oh,
those bad people are running around.
do
Yeah,
love
that
the
was
word
a good
favela.
song.
Yeah, so that
Like,
one
that was
got
great,
that
yeah.
one was also nominated for
Right.
best song. Like I don't know. Anyways,
And
that
I think
song
right, that's
makes
kind of
no weight to this argument compared to all the other music.
right. So if I'm being devil's advocate on both sides, so it didn't bother me too much in it. But whenever you're taking a movie that's very grounded in its culture, and then you have all these songs that are culturally relevant, and you have all the great stuff there, the one thing that they're gonna be able to be are like, oh, well, there's the big glaring flaw. So
Yeah, I mean, it does. To be fair, it does stick out.
Mhm.
Like
Sure,
I
that's fine.
can forgive it, but I do like I get why Price has a problem with it, and I do think it is kind of worth talking about a little bit because it is very odd.
Overall, it bothered me less because I feel like '07 movies and like anything from '07 to like 2010, like I feel like every movie relevant to this, I feel like was looking for any reason to throw that song into their movie. So I'm like, this is annoying, but it wouldn't be the first movie I've seen. It's not going to be the last movie that I've seen that's done this the same exact thing. But there's a lot more to talk about other than just this one scene in the movie,
absolutely.
right? So there's one scene in particular that really sticks out to me early on, and that's the favela scene when all of the people, I guess, I forget they're attacking because they're Muslim, or I forget if the Muslims were attacking.
I think it's because they were Muslim.
Right, they were Muslim, and that's what it was. I can remember which.
Salim is definitely Muslim.
Right.
He's having that prayer scene later on in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like it's clearly laid out until that point. At least to me, it wasn't obvious that that's what had happened there. I think it was hinted at with the little boy like painted in blue, like dressed up
with
like
the archery.
Right. Yeah, and I knew that. I only knew that culturally because I've worked with a lot of Indian, like immigrants and exchange students. Whenever I was in like the tech side of stuff, but like through college, and they would explain like, oh yeah, we hate these people because of this religion or something like that, or they hate us for this specific side. I can't remember which side it was, but I remember thinking like, man, this movie just turned it into 11 on that one scene. Everybody's just kind of long. Everybody's pooping, leaping in poop, and getting autographs and all that. And then it's just like, oh yeah, their mom's probably dead.
Oh yeah, she
not probably.
Yeah, she got domed into the water. That probably doesn't good for her breathing.
Probably not.
Yeah, but the whole favela scene, that and then like just the favela scene when they're running away from like the security from the airport or whatever. I love the overtop shot of this. The photography on this, I think, was like probably one of my favorite parts of this movie, just because they did such a good job of making you, shoot and feel like you're on location, but then you just get, when they're in the favelas and they're in the poverty parts of it, you feel like that grungy, poor, trash part of it, and then you see like the rags to riches parts of the movie difference as it kind of goes along. I thought that part was the really more interesting part of this film. The character parts were interesting and fun, but I'm leaping around. But
for me, the best part for the movie for me was how it was structured. I've never seen something like this. Like a lot of times, a lot of movies try to go for like a framing device and then have the story told through that. And I think this one did it very, very well with the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Like, how do you know these answers? And like, it just goes through his life. And I remember like it went through the first segment of his like childhood, and then it went to the answer. And I was like, wait, that's the reason I did that is because that was in there. Like that little kid holding the whatever. Yeah. At that one part, I was like it went through that, which I really thought that was interesting. How they kept playing those two together.
Yeah, I agree. Well. Like that was a good motivator of like why they were cutting back to these past scenes. Mm-hmm. And the first couple of times they do it, they don't actually make it clear that he's telling the police officer that either until like about the
tortured.
third.
Yeah. Like they start out with him getting tortured, and you're like, where is this movie at right now?
Yeah.
But you're right. Like it doesn't take until like the third question that the cop is actually talking to him one-on-one.
Yeah.
When they're just being humans, and I'll agree. The structure of this movie is very good, and it hooks you, I think, with that torturing scene, and like the whole time, like they're just trying to get this information out of him, and he's sticking to his guns. I knew it. I'll tell you how I knew it.
I knew the answers.
Yes.
Please stop torturing me.
What could a Slumdog know? And it's just like the answers.
Well, this movie is definitely interesting for just like that slice of life that it shows of India.
Absolutely.
And just like how crazy in the like variedness of poverty to riches that country has. Like it's fascinating.
It's gross.
It's illuminating too.
Exactly.
Like oh my god!
The fact that he was
horrible situation.
Yes, living in basically a trash yard. That is probably livable, yes, and probably okay. Like all those water sources that they were sitting there, cleaning their clothes in, like
and they know. Like the thing that I think is interesting is that they knew that he was from there. Like how did the people from the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire show know that he was a slumdog? Like knew that he was from that horribly poverty-stricken part of their country.
Yeah, he just said that the location. He told them the location that he was from, but you're
right.
Well, they
then,
assumed
so they kind of knew.
That'd be like if you were like, oh yeah, I'm out from like Oakland, California, or something. We're like,
yeah, exactly. I'm from Brooklyn.
Yeah,
but also too, like they were insulting him from the get-go. That guy was, because there was some, a chaiwala. He's an assistant to the telemarketers.
Yeah.
Like, he's kind of belittling him the whole time. But
Yeah.
I think that the dynamic between the host and him was like really good. Like, the whole time. It reminded you of Regis Philbin. Like
Rip.
I know, like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Don't take this video.
Sorry. But yeah, it's like he was honestly one of the top 3 best, maybe top 5 best parts.
Yeah,
but
the main detective is pretty sweet. Like,
yeah, he's
just
cool.
Him talking with Jamal throughout the whole time. I keep just want to be like Dev Patel, whatever. You know who I'm talking. Dev Patel. But
if we're going back to the characters and talking about them, I personally, Salim was the only one I kind of was invested in.
Yeah.
Because Jamal, like, he just felt like this way too good and altruistic character to me. Like, I don't know, he was just way too
He just
good.
seemed too much of a, just quiet blank canvas.
he's very much just going through the motions of like what the characters
That
dragged
was
him
the
through.
qualm that I had with this movie, one of the two, because like with his character, he went through this entire life without any consequence. Like, he didn't care what kind of trouble he got into. He didn't care when he tracked so-and-so down or when he got a hold of so-and-so what would happen at that point. He was just going to roll with it. And, his love for Latika and his love for his brother, even throughout the entirety of this movie.
Which his brother did not deserve.
Yeah,
No.
his brother's
No.
a douchebag.
I hated his brother. I mean, he was a good character, but like, I hated him.
Great character. If we hated him, they did their job.
Yeah.
So I want to get this under, like, straight. He did pretty much rape Latika, right?
Yeah,
Like,
in the
when he
hotel
shut the
room?
door.
Yeah.
I don't think that is necessarily the case, because then we fast forward to Latika is like wife or wife to be or something like that
To the
of
gang member guy?
that gang leader that he had just talked to before coming back.
Right.
So I would almost think he probably knew about Latika.
Yeah.
And one of the things that he had told Salim to do was to get him that
Prime
girl.
her. Yeah. Or to like get her.
I'm agreeing with them, too, about him raping her.
See,
because
it feels like that.
Jamal was irate.
Yeah. Like,
I mean,
that's
wouldn't
how.
you be no matter what's going to happen.
I mean, for
next?
sure, yeah.
Like, they just rescued her.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, they just confronted
Like
everyone
they
that they
literally
ran away
just
from.
they came back, confronted them, and murdered one of them
Right.
to save her.
Which that's one of those stakes that I'm talking about. Like they went back for her, that's so awesome. Good for them.
Mm-hmm.
But those guys were scary. Like, they were blinding children. They were running a show of just these awful,
Yeah, they were
charity
literally
cases.
snatching orphans off the street in
Yeah.
order to use them to make money.
And they didn't
Batman?
care to come back.
What?
Yeah.
Slightly better Batman. Slightly worse Batman, actually. But
But yeah, you're right. Salim is the driven force. And at the end of the movie, do you guys like him or do you not like him? You know what
I
I
still
mean?
don't like him.
Salim, I think, is redeemed by his last stuff, but I don't like him because of everything he
Everything
does to
else.
get Yeah,
He's
the
not
only reason
forgiven.
that he gets a redeeming moment is because he put himself in the situation in the first place. Because
Multiple times.
Yeah, every single time.
Like, it's his fault for
Yeah.
so much of it.
Yeah, right. Every bit
like,
of it.
all he had to do is just keep a hold of Latika's hand.
Yeah.
And there would have been a
then
different
he's
story.
Oh,
just-
so different, yeah.
Like,
Smiles,
what an absolute awful
terrible.
You know, he was
person.
awful when he sold that autographed, whoever it was.
Oh, yeah.
He was an asshole from then.
Like,
Yeah.
that was bad, but, if he had, I don't know, shared what money had been made from that with
the
the family,
6
done
nickels.
anything.
Yep.
Anything
All
like
the
that.
rubies were all his little, the rubies and the coins or whatever.
I wonder if that's meant to be some kind of critique on, because he so many times through the movies, I'm the oldest brother, I'm the head of house,
Yes.
I'm in charge, you have to do
It's
what
ahead
I
of flipping
say.
that
to
cultural
me.
perspective,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think that the character dynamics were really good. Obviously, the Latikas and everything like that. I don't know. Even after they had rescued her, I mean, she was still down to.
Man, it's just I just really think this is good. I really think this is good.
I'm telling you,
This
man.
is good. Man, that part is
it's
good.
It's so good.
So what
Big G word.
What I will
Good.
what I'll say, both are good scenes, but looking back on it, bother me narratively about this movie is all right, we meet Latika, cool. Latika gets in danger. We rescue Latika. Oh, she's in danger.
She's
again.
a damsel in distress.
It's like
Yeah.
a Mario and Princess
Yeah,
Peach thing, almost.
she gets both freed and then immediately back into trouble and danger within like 10 minutes of like every single instance of her being freed, like 2 or 3 times in this film, right? Like, first time, second time, like, well, I guess to talk with her, and she's like, get out of here. No, you're not gonna free me. And then she gets freed again. Yeah, so I don't know. This movie has a lot of Latika goes to jail and then goes out of jail, so to speak. But so that part bothered me. But overall, in execution in the scenes, it didn't feel like that bad. But when I'm looking back and I'm like, this girl can't stay out of these enemies' hands for 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that she doesn't like it now. She's not Stockholm Syndrome. She's like, nah, this is my life. Like,
and then another thing I didn't like about the movie as well is they tried this like experimental camera shot.
I knew it.
That I'm sure you all remember. Like
Same.
it's like tilted.
Yep.
Like they put some like gradient filter over it and then they slow it down.
Mm-hmm.
They did it one time and I was like, okay, maybe they're trying to do something experimental, trying something different. They did it throughout the movie.
They did it quite a
many
few times.
So
many
would
times.
that be
I did
like
not
the
like
scene
it.
where like
It's
it's
used a
looking at
lot.
Latika and she's just like standing there looking up,
Yes.
smiling?
And then
Okay,
they
so
Yeah,
anytime
change
just like
between
that
the
kind of
cars.
shot,
yeah,
that's
the one that looks like a memory shot, right?
Yeah,
And they do that
maybe
all the
that's
time.
what their intention was.
Right.
Like,
So-
this movie does have many points where it's like what is happening doesn't actually happen,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and is maybe I didn't pay enough attention. Were they framing every one of those shots in that way? Like whenever Jamal is on that building under construction and runs up to his brother and pushes
Yeah.
both of them
It was
off
a
the building.
weird, like, oh, gotcha.
I love that scene.
Yeah, it was kind of weird.
Ah!
But yeah, I mean, I think it was a little bit of both when it came to Latika's character out there,
Mm-hmm.
because the one off the building was just like, whoa.
it was
Get
so
over.
it was so right, like out of field. I'm just like, that's actually really funny to me.
Yeah, like,
Which
it
is-
made me really look up and be like, whoa, hang on.
It's just the scene with the
This is
mountain
a-
and the hound all over again. Like,
Yeah.
oh, wait, isn't that the same scene from Game of Thrones? Man, Game of Thrones couldn't even do that right. Like, they just took it from Slumdog.
But yeah, I'm with you, Price. Like, the cinematography of this actually won some like Oscars, but it was strange because I'm with
Goodness.
you. Like, those shots were so weird, but also just handed to just India's style,
Yeah.
and I don't know anything about it, so maybe.
I haven't watched enough Bollywood films to know if
Yeah.
this is on their brand for culture, like
I
shooting.
thought
or
this
not.
was going to be more Bollywood.
I did too.
whenever, like, because I know about the Jaho thing as a dance, which is why I was like, okay, this is going to be like some kind of Indian
Yeah.
Bollywood kind of movie, maybe. But it was not that. It was very much a Hollywood style movie.
Yeah.
And then right at the very end, they had that
Full
full dance
Bollywood
scene.
You know it because they put paper airplanes in the movie twice.
All I want to do.
Paper airplanes.
And ching!
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next segment.
Yeah, let's talk about how good that song is. Let's talk about Paper Airplanes. Is it good? Is it bad? Or should we use it in
Haley
every
Williams?
movie? No, we're talking
Airplanes.
Fat, Thin, Perfectly Fit, guys. You know the segment. You love it. Is the movie perfectly matches runtime? Is it a little too long? Is it a little too less? I don't know. Let's find out today. Nathan, what do you think?
I'd say it's pretty fit. I couldn't quite pick anything in particular that I would cut out. So, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty solid movie. Maybe don't have that song in it. That is like the one thing that I do agree stuck out like a sore thumb. And maybe those weird angle shots and stuff, but I'll forgive them that much.
Yeah.
This movie's fat. I felt the runtime throughout it. I didn't despise this movie. It's just, it bit off, I think, more than it could chew. And I think it told too many storylines and tried doing too much. Like, I don't feel like we needed the, like, little side story with, like, Jamal covered in poop and stuff and going to get that autograph. If we also got the section where, like, the kids are getting blinded and stuff. Because both of them basically serve to, like, do the same thing, which is to say that Salim is not a good person and that Jamal is very good. And I feel like that whole, like, poop and autograph part could have just been thrown out and just had the orphan part, because it, like, shows, like, how much, like tribulation they've had to go through, how awful Salim really is, introduces Latika, and yeah, that whole section could be cut, which is a pretty big portion of the movie. So yeah, fat.
I think poop is a big part of Indian culture. I think it stays. This is a fit movie. The end. Mason.
Yeah, it's very fit. I totally understand.
Oh, it is.
I totally understand, like, your point. Like, there might have been some points where you're like, oh, well, I didn't necessarily need to know that much of that answer of that question. But, like, there was a lot of just little highlight films in this movie. Some a lot more drawn out than others. That orphan part was very vivid. You know, the whole peppers. Whenever she got all the peppers and threw them in Salim's pants, like that was comic relief.
Everybody's laughing.
That was a lot of fun compared to them blinding that child. You know, it's like there was some balance. That poop point was kind of funny, even though it was only like a 4-minute bit or less. But I mean, yeah, I think it was fit for what it was. It was long, but I didn't feel it. So
yeah,
it was long. I agree with that half.
Yeah.
On the scores?
Yeah,
Sure.
on the scores. You want to
Mason.
go first?
You go last.
Okay.
Sure, I'll go first. Why not? We'll keep the
Same
circle rolling. I think I'm going to give this movie an 8. I liked what it showed as far as like everything that it was doing to kind of show off Indian culture and just kind of the state of the world there. I thought that was all very fascinating and such a good look into what is a very, very harsh and kind of awful world, it seems like.
Yeah, like world you don't want to live in ever.
Yeah,
Like don't even want to think about it really.
This film really discouraged people from wanting to go visit India, I think.
I'm gonna tell you, it certainly did. Especially all those scenes with like the kids stealing
cars.
stealing the wallets and stuff
Yeah.
while people were watching plays and just
Taj
like
Mahal.
yeah, like
Stealing
stealing all the
shoes.
shoes and all that kind of business and like that doesn't paint the nicest of
You can't even
pictures of
have
India.
belongings if you visit there
No.
because they'll get taken.
All right, my turn. So, I've said my qualms previously. Again, okay, Dylan's calling a 5, so I gotta not hit that. So again, I already said why I didn't like it, but I really did like how the movie was structured. I thought that was very unique, but it was too long. The music was too grating. Those shots, like if they were just done just a few times, I'd be fine with it. And there were too many stories told that I feel like did the same thing, so they felt redundant in a way. So for all those reasons, I'm going to go with a 4 for this movie. Pass.
What Price said, but the opposite. I'm going to give it an 8. Thank you.
Alright. So before I give mine, so real quick, if you guys remember the 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri, the qualm that I had with that movie was that it won quite a few Oscars for what it was, but my point for that was because of its competition for that particular year. This year, so this won a lot, okay, but the other movies for this year, and
$1 Million Baby was in this year, right?
no,
$1
$1 Million Baby's old.
Didn't think it was on.
WALL-E, Dark Knight, Benjamin Button, Tropic Thunder, which
Tropic Thunder.
So what you're
Robert
saying is
Downey
they had a
Jr.
pretty easy year, all things considered.
Milk, a lot of things like that.
Dark
were
Knight
also
excluded
here.
on that one, but as a
Yeah.
comic book
Do
film.
you think that this movie was as deserving versus all of those?
So it depends.
I don't know
Which
what
awards?
category we're talking
Which
about. Like,
categories did it win?
like
'Cause
best
won-
animated?
It won music. It won
Animated.
cinematography.
Wally was in there.
No, WALL-E it beat out for music too. It won.
I don't think WALL-E was music off the top of my head. I could see it for
It
music.
won Best Actor over Robert Downey Jr.
Dev
for
Patel
Tropic
won.
Thunder.
Yeah, Dev Patel on that one.
So there was just, I think they won like
I
7.
definitely don't
ones.
agree with that.
I agree with it.
So
You should.
Robert Downey.
Listen, I think it's good, but I don't think you should really give an award
Robert
for it
Downey
this year.
Jr. crushed that acting role as
he
compared
crushed
to
that
this
comedy
guy.
role.
Like-
Ugh.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
He like played a guy acting as another guy, and then at one point he even acts like another guy at the same time. What did this guy do? Oh, he like yelled a couple of times and was like running a lot and he got real sweaty.
we know where Price stands on it. He gave Tropic Thunder at least an 8. Anyways,
Good.
a 9, I think.
Out of 7. So we said
Alright.
Price. That doesn't make sense. But
So getting to my score, I do give this movie an 8.5. I think that as far as like I said, the runtime, I think that it served it right, and also this book to movie adaptation or movie to book, right? No,
book to movie.
book to movie adaptation. Yeah, was actually a lot more sound. And I've said that about some movies before. Me and Earl and the Dying Girl being one, Flipped being another. This movie is so much better than the book that it kind of hurts. The book does not have the love interest at all, that's fine. Some people can take or leave that.
Yeah.
but the Latika in this one serves so much more motivation and gets him back into these.
A lot of motivation.
Yeah.
She's good
Peach-
to look at.
Yeah, Princess Peach scenarios.
Well, not even that. I feel like it gives Jamal something to actually work for and work
Live for?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like he has ambition outside of Latika.
No, he
in this
doesn't.
one.
Oh, he doesn't.
Right. So without Latika, I could see this being like, oh my God, Jamal, you're just moving. Like
Yeah.
you're
Like,
being worked wherever
He
you go.
clearly had no motivation. He
Yeah.
was a dishwasher. He was the chai walla.
Right.
Like,
Also,
he wasn't trying.
Nathan, this is the first time you saw this, right?
Yeah.
Did you think that he was going to go with B whenever the host answered for him, or no?
No.
Okay, just make sure.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how that resonated because it's been a long time since I've seen it.
Like
for the first time.
I could definitely feel that guy.
Was the scum of the earth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he saw people below him as below him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said you can make almost as much money as me.
If this was Persona, this guy would
Almost.
have a palace that people would move in. They would be
Yeah.
getting a change of heart for this.
Yes,
one.
he would.
So I guess that wraps up Slumdog Millionaire. Dylan, I think you have the next pick.
I sure do. And speaking of speaking of dollars, speaking of movie,
Tim and Eric's $1 billion movie.
we haven't done it on
Round 2.
on here, unrecorded, with Price actually giving it a 10.
Yeah, you gave it a 10.
He gave it a 10.
Mm-hmm.
You have to watch that video to find out.
No, we will. We'll just reenact it. It's fine. It's getting hot in here, guys. Feels like I'm in the South American jungles looking for a mosquito trapped in amber. We're watching Jurassic Park, baby.
Oh.
We're gonna watch. No, we're gonna eat dinosaurs. They're gonna get them. Ow! Frog DNA. Let's go.
You're going to get pick of the month. It's not even fair now.
It is fair. Jurassic Park's good. It deserves it. That's our show next week, guys. Make sure to tune in. You're gonna see me wake up a lot more. It's really hot down here. I don't want to be here anymore. That's our show. They keep making me host. So make sure to like and subscribe if you like our content. Dislike Price in the comments below.
Yeah, hate him.
Don't
Bye.
don't reflect that in the video. Bye, guys.
I'll host next week if you don't want to.
No, you won't.
So Mason, did you think that was good? Did you think that our...